there are three objects, the glass, the cold water, and the hand. But as long as you figure out which one's the hottest region, heat always flows from the hotter region to the colder region. So that's the same concept all over again. So which one is the hotter region? Is it the glass, the cold water, or Ali's hand?
Hand.
Yes, Ali's hand, right? Yeah. Okay, very good. Well done. Okay. So Ali's hand is the hotter region. Okay. And of course, these two, I would say, since there are three things, I will use the superlative adjective, which is hottest. Okay, if I were to compare these three, Ali's hand is the hottest because if you think about it, right, what's our body temperature? Our body temperature is about 36.7, 37, some of us 37 point something, right? So the hands are about 37 degrees and cold water maybe less than 10 degrees, right? Depending on how cold the water is. The glass is probably at room temperature, which is at 25. So out of these three, actually, Ali's hand is the hottest, okay? And since it's the hottest, there is heat loss from his hand to the glass. Well, that is correct, actually, right? Because his hand is the hottest. Okay, so it will lose heat to here, it will lose heat to here. So both sides, it will lose heat to both of them because it's the hottest region. It will lose heat to these two parts. Or we can also say, in other words, these two parts will gain heat from. So actually, yes, the first statement is correct. There is heat loss from his hand. His hand is the hotter region. His hand loses heat to the glass, okay? Now, just to double check, let's just check the rest. Heat gain from his hand to the glass. That means his hand gain heat from the glass. No, right? His hands, if his hands were to gain heat from the glass, his hands will feel even hotter. But his hands actually felt cold, right? If you look at the question, his hands felt cold. So in this case, it is not that his hand felt gain heat, because if his hands were to gain heat, it would have been hotter. Yeah? Okay, number 3, there is heat loss from the cold water to his hand. No, if we say that, we are trying to say that the cold water is even hotter. That's why the cold water lose heat to his hand. But we all know it's not correct, right? Because the hands are hotter than the cold water and not the cold water is hotter than the hand. So we cannot say that the cold water lost heat to his hand. That's incorrect. Okay, and the last one, there's heat gain from the cold water. This statement and this statement, these two statements are actually very similar. It's trying to say that there's heat gain from the cold water to his hand. Yeah, so it's just the opposite. But even so, there's heat gain from okay, so it's more of there's heat loss from his hand to the glass. That's why he was feeling cold.